Hey everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be building Alfea College for the Winx Club. And if you're unfamiliar, Alfea is where the girls go to study magic as well as traditional academics. I'm building on a 64 by 64 lot in Brindleton Bay. Originally, I had the Winx in Glimmerbrook, the world that comes with Realm of Magic. However, all of the lots in that world are really small, and so moving out here made a little bit more sense. All right, so this is the picture I'm going to go off of. So I want to start with that rounded room in the center there. And instead of making my own rounded rooms because I am lazy, I just go to the gallery and get a circle room. So Taurus Sauce has one of these, and we'll put it here. And then I'm going to go in and get a smaller rounded room, and I'm going to put that one kind of here. Okay, so now that we have kind of these tower parts up, let's do one more right here. Okay, so now we've got our round shells. I can't believe I'm letting myself do rounded rooms for this, but it's okay. So I think what I'm going to do is that. All right, so then we kind of have a loose floor plan here. All right, so I'll go try to repeat this on the other side. Okay, so I was finally able to put this shell together and connect all of these rounded rooms, and it was such a pain, but I think we have a good shell going right now. So now I want to go in and roof, and so I'm going to put an octagonal roof over on this piece, something like that. All right, so here is our loose shell for Alfea, and then I will go in and do wall and roof paint and things like that. All right, and then here we have roofing and sculptures and coloring, and I'll add stairs there, and I'll put some here. There are spiral staircases in the actual Alfea, but the Sims team has yet to give us spiral staircases, so this is going to be what we go with. All right, and then after several hours, here is what our build ended up looking like. And I'm actually very happy with how this turned out. I think the landscaping is really fun. We have the open bottoms. And then I just used debug orbs from Realm of Magic to add some magic and lighting around. And so with that, we will go in. And I think we'll start in this center area. So I think what I want to do first is add kind of a grand staircase in the middle here. And I want this to be kind of just like a foyer entryway to the school kind of room. And then let's do just some like coffee tables. Like I sort of like these life and death ones. And maybe we just have like 4 of these in here as like seating areas. And for chairs, again, I want them to be really like whimsical. I wonder if we have any with Realm of Magic. Okay, so now we have 2 seating areas with the chairs. I maybe also want to do some areas with like couches. Maybe we'll do this and then we can put coffee tables in between both of them. I really want to go heavy Realm of Magic in this room just because I know we're going to deviate a lot from it in other areas. Okay, and we have a Realm of Magic one in the matching wood. All right, so here we have all these hangout areas. Okay, and then with that, here is our foyer area. I just tried to add a little bit of book clutter, a plant wall, but I didn't want to add a ton just because I know that schools don't often have a lot of clutter on the wall. So, all right, and with that room complete, we can go up here to the kitchen and dining hall. All right, so we'll call this where they get like just their typical food. And then my hope is we can put a counter next to it. And then I think it could be kind of cute to have like the boba back here and maybe like the coffee bar there. Because this is a really fancy school, I want there to be like multiple options for them to get food and drink. And then as far as dining goes, they actually do have pictures of this and they have really, really long tables. I would like ones that are perhaps a little bit fancy. Actually, I kind of like this Realm of Magic looking one. And maybe we have 3 of those. And then for chairs, they're like benches in the show. So I think we'll just go magic looking here. Like these, and we can match the aesthetic from downstairs. So now I'll run in off camera and clutter it up. Okay, and then with clutter and lighting, here is how our dining room and kitchen turned out. I realize we do need a fridge in here, so I'll throw that in. But by and large, we just have all of the tables, a little coffee area, a food serving area, and the boba area. And I tried to put little signs up indicating which was which. And then we'll throw the fridge back there too, so they have it. All right, and so then we will move up. And here we're going to do the auditorium or stage area. Okay, for the stage here, we definitely want a piano. And I think I might put a get to work fence in so you can tell that there's that separation a little bit. We can also put a violin back here as well as a few guitars. We can put a few microphones up here and we can do a big speaker back here. And then I think I will put in a minimalist dance floor or two so that people can dance up here. And then a little hack I will do sometimes is put this wall in. That way we can get some curtains. And then we can go in and delete the wall. But then we have this like curtain and rod, so it looks a little bit more like that's a stage. And then we'll get some viewing chairs in here. And like maybe we do these cute ones from high school years. And maybe we can do like a bunch of different fun colors. Okay, yeah, like these look kind of crazy, but I really like that aesthetic. Like it's kind of like the students can customize their own chairs. And so I'll go in and finish cluttering up this room. With clutter and lighting, here is how this room turned out. We've got all the chairs back here. And then I put stage lights up with the stage like area over here. All right, so now with those big common spaces done, let's move over and do this area that I want to be kind of a recreation room, games, activities, things like that. So I'm just going to go through and see what skills we want to include in here. I didn't think about it, but they probably do need laundry somewhere. So maybe we'll put laundry back here. Okay, and then let's see. Oh, we'll definitely be able to fit all of this in the room. The arcade game, I think we put here against one of the more solid walls. And then around the cross-stitching box, I think it could be cute if we just had like some bean bags. All right, so we'll do this. It's a little mucky, but I'll go in and do clutter and lighting, and hopefully that fixes things up a little bit. Okay, so here's how the hangout space turned out with lighting and clutter. We have like the little cauldron and meditation area, and then just like foosball, ping pong. I just tried to make it very like teen hangout vibes. I think the lighting did a lot for us here. I think that toned everything down just a little bit. I also changed the wallpaper so it wasn't so loud since we did have so much going on in this room. All right, so now we'll move on. I've already done the hallways because they're really nothing special. And we can go in and do our first classroom. And I think we'll put the whiteboard up here in the center and then maybe a teacher's desk back here. I want to have like student desks, and I think just these plain ones are fine. All right, so that's going to be pretty much it in here. I will go in off camera and add the clutter. All right, and then with the loose bit of clutter, here is what the classroom ended up looking like. And then I just put a little science kit and the teacher's desk in the back there. And so with that room done, we'll move into this classroom. So I kind of wanted to break it up into academic classrooms and more magical classrooms. But I want this one to be kind of like the potions room. So what I might do is get a bunch of shelving, and we have all of these Realm of Magic potions that we can stick in there. Okay, so we have this in here with all the potions. And then what I might do instead is get one of these tables maybe, and then put dining chairs around them as classroom chairs. Like they're in groups for this. I think that works really nice. And then I will pull the light over here, but honestly, I don't think there is any more cluttering that needs to be done to this room besides the potions. Although I might go in and change the lighting a little bit for this room. Yeah, so then this will be our potions classroom. And I think this one is very cool. It's a lot more magic schooly than the other classroom, which I like. But let's move over here into one of the libraries. I really like the Crystal Creations bookcase. These are all windows, so I don't want to do bookshelves up there. So there's just a few bookcases in there, and then this can be another just like hangout area. Like I think we could do maybe a funky couch like this, and we could do like a collection of fun chairs over here. Like I do think in here we just make it a bunch of seating areas. All right, and then we'll get a bunch of dining tables in here. All right, so with kind of these little seating areas in place, I will go in off camera and add the clutter. All right, and then with clutter and lighting, here is our little library study area. I think it turned out super cute and fun. I love this My Wedding Stories couch that we put in there. And then it's very teen vibes, but I also tried to put up that ancient book there to kind of tie in the magic element. And that's going to be that room. And then I have bathrooms on both sides here. They're the exact same. I'm just going to run in off screen and throw the bathrooms together. All right, so then we've gone in and thrown the bathrooms together. They're just stalled. And then this one over here is the exact same. And then speaking of bathrooms, we are going to go in and make this area sort of our like shower and bathhouse. And I want to see if we have enough room in here for a hot spring. And then we need showers. And I think what we'll do is the walls. Okay, yeah, so this will be our loose bathroom, and then I'll just go in and finish it up. Okay, and then here is our bathhouse, the best we could get it in a rounded room. But we have 3 shower stalls, and then in here more of a spa area with a jacuzzi tub. And then out here we have the hot spring, which is definitely like the focal point of this room. And so with the bathhouse added, we can move over here. Again, the hallway is done, and we can move to this classroom. I think I want to use these Will-O-the-Wisp desks from Realm of Magic as the student desks in this room. We'll throw the whiteboard at the front of the room, and then I'll go and clutter this room up. This is pretty good for right now, though. Okay, and then clutter and lighting. Here is how this classroom turned out. I think this one's cool. I think it's a good mix between the academic classroom and the magical one. So then we can move over and do this classroom. And in here, I might borrow the same kind of scheme we were doing in the one on the other side. There's definitely some get to work stuff that we could use in here. I might even put the chemical analyzer back in here. Like maybe this room's a little bit more focused on like science and tech. And honestly, this is kind of the extent of coloring and decor we're going to do in this classroom. Again, just a pretty basic room, probably teaching more traditional academics. I might go here and make the infirmary. So in Winx, the girls and presumably other students are getting hurt relatively often trying to like save the world. And so their school actually does have an infirmary. And so I went ahead and put it in this little outside area, and I'll just add a bunch of beds and then maybe like the IV drip in between them. All right, so this will be our little infirmary here. Okay, so we're going to skip the dorms and then go up a floor. So I think we'll move in now and do an office for kind of the dean of students. I think what we probably want to do first and foremost is get a more like official looking desk. Like this one is pretty good. And then maybe a few chairs for like students to sit in while they're talking to the dean. Honestly, the chairs and stuff are kind of the focal point of this room. We can have these for maybe people who are waiting to talk to the dean. And then I will go in and add the clutter. Okay, and then with clutter and lighting, this is how the office turned out. I threw in some big plants, bookshelves, and then some more just magic and academic decor. And so then we can move over to this classroom, and I want this to be like a classroom based on like using the cauldrons and potion making and things like that. So I think I might put one cauldron here and another one, maybe a darker one. Okay, so we have 3 separate cauldrons, and then I want to put chairs all around them almost as if they are tables. There, so now we kind of have our separate cauldron classroom areas, and I'll go off and finish the clutter here. With clutter and lighting, then here is how the cauldron classroom turned out. I tried to add just some fairy stuff, a few little lights. And then over here, we do have a crow in this classroom. So this one's maybe a little bit more of that like dark, mysterious magic. And so moving on from that classroom, we can move to this side and go in and make our greenhouse here. And I think I'm actually going to do this room off camera because really the plan is just to load it with like every plant we have in the game. And then after placing a million plants, here is what our greenhouse looked like. And I tried to give it some of the alien mushrooms, the twisted root plant, things that would make it a little bit more magic greenhouse than just a typical greenhouse. And so with the greenhouse completed, we can go in here, and I think I just want to make one more classroom. So we'll put our same whiteboard in, same desks, and then I wonder if we use some of these like jungle adventure pieces to make this more of like a history looking classroom. And then that's literally going to be it for this classroom. Very standard, very typical academics. And then I did just throw together this little area in the hallway on both sides as like little hangout spaces. So then we're still going to skip the dorms. And these small rooms in the top of the tower, I think are just going to be more like recreation areas. So maybe up here we'll do another chessboard. I like the idea of them having the gemology table from Crystal Creations. And I know like a lot of them are really into fashion, so we could put a few mannequins up here as well. And then honestly, I think that's really all this room needs. We're just gonna have a few more skills and hobbies up there, and maybe we can put one of the wardrobe platforms up, I suppose, and the costume rack. Okay, yeah, and then with this little hangout area complete, we can move over to the one on this side. And then I think in here I want to give us a TV and make it more of kind of that traditional living room vibe. And I think it could be cute if we made this more like movie theater sleepover kind kind of vibes. So we have these counters here, and maybe we can do like a cute microwave. And I'd love to do like the popcorn machine. And then I think even with that, I want to do like the sleeping bags over here. So then it's like people can hang out and sleep over here. And then I need to do wall decor in both rooms. Okay, so now in this room, we have a little bit of wall decor, like some art type things. I think that's cute over there. And then also just some posters and little art pieces over in this area. And then the top floor of each of these towers are going to be bathrooms, so I'll run off and do those. Okay, so I threw this bathroom together with the sink kind of being the focal point, 2 bathroom stalls, and then a shower and a bath. And then we're literally just going to copy and paste the same bathroom over here on the other side. And then that means we now have every room done except for our dorms. So we'll go in now and make Roxy's dorm. Okay, so for Roxy's dorm, the floor plan in here is going to be kind of weird because we have the stupid rounded rooms. I might do this little area for a bed. And maybe don't hit a bed like this for Roxy. For a dresser for Roxy, we can go in, I kind of like this one. It's a little bit like retro. And then we can put a mirror in here. And then I also want to go in and do a bunch of pet related things in here. But I think maybe having the dog bed back here is cute. I think it would be kind of fun to have one of the cat things here at the foot of the bed for a cat to play on. But we could have like the trough in here. That's like a little silly, but at least then it shows that there's like other animals that are playing in here. What I might actually do for Roxy is find like a fun divider and separate her room into kind of the pet half and the bedroom half. I think it would also be really cute in here to just have like a microwave and like a mini fridge. I feel like it's very common in a dorm to have your own kind of food so you aren't always having to go to the dining hall. And this one has a dog sticker on it, so let's do that for her. I want to make sure she has a skill item, probably animal related if we can. We do have like the vet thing. Maybe for Roxy's skill, we can just do our go-to like cross-stitching box. And I think it'll be cute to give her like a hamster. All right, so this will be our loose dorm for Roxy. I will go in off camera and clutter it up. Okay, and then with clutter and lighting, here is what we've got going for Roxy's bedroom. I realized we needed to give her a desk, but I think it looks really nice right now. We've got that little kitchen-y area. There is a pet bed at the foot of her bed to show that the separation isn't 100%. And then over here, she can get her vet skill up. I finally was able to find a reason to use a bunch of pet clutter. And then in the center there, I just put a few little animal chairs with some toys where like she and a friend could sit and play with some of the animals. And so that will be our finished product for Roxy's dorm. I guess I didn't realize how big these rooms were, but I think we did a pretty good job filling the space. So now we will go up here and move into Tekna's bedroom. And I found this bed that I think is going to be like perfect for her. Although I also want to somewhere in her room, but in one of the sleeping pods. Like, I don't know if she would ever actually sleep in here, but it's so cool. I feel like it just makes sense for her. And then we need to get a dresser, ideally purple or green, like that. And then maybe we can put a mirror up near it. And then for a skill item for Tekna, I do think we could probably throw the chess table in here. And I also think the robotics workstation could be fun. But I think for her, we can just go super science-y. Like, we'll put the cloning machine in here. All right, and with this little bit of clutter put in, I will go in off camera and finish the room up. All right, and then with lighting and clutter, here is Tekna's room. It's very science, very tech focused. I tried to add some of the stuff from the scientist career. And then over here, we do have a little TV viewing area and a desk and things like that. I also put the wormhole generator in here. I just thought that was like a really fun addition to her room. And then that is going to be our room for Tekna. So then we can come up here and do the room for Musa. All right, so let's get a bed for Musa. Red and blue are going to be our primary color schemes here. And I think I might put the bed over in this area. I don't maybe hate that. And then we can get a dresser. I feel like I honestly could kind of see Musa with one of these. I would love to give Musa like the boom cube for an end table. And then for hobbies and skills, I honestly just want to go full music. I think we'll give Musa the guitar. I want her to have the Mixmaster station. I want to get the DJ station for her. The piano maybe like there. The record player against the wall. Ooh, and I think she definitely needs the amps. We can do maybe this desk. Okay, and I think this is a pretty good loose shelf for Musa. So I'll go in off camera and finish cluttering it up. Okay, and then with clutter and lighting, here is Musa's dorm. And I wanted to go a little bit crazy with hers because I feel like she would have a lot of like posters and records on the wall. I will also acknowledge that Musa is my favorite Winx member, and I really wanted to make sure we gave her a room that she would be really happy with. And this is kind of where we landed with that. So with Musa's room completed, that's all of the girls who live in this little area. And we can move over now to Layla or Aisha's room. So Layla's colors are pretty much blue and green. Like they are green, but she's the water fairy. I don't hate this bed maybe for her. For a dresser, I kind of like this one. And then something I really want to get in here for Layla is this waterfall wall. And then for a skill item, she's also the athlete. Maybe we get her the punching bag. And then I'll get her a desk. Maybe this one that kind of looks like water. As far as the dance floor goes, I feel like any of these are like too obvious. So I might just put a minimalist dance floor in here for her. All right, and with this little bit done, I will go in and clutter the rest up. And then with clutter and lighting, here is Layla or Aisha's room. I added a little fountain, the aquarium. It's also raining in my game, and for some reason it's making that affect the inside of this room. But I think it turned out really lovely. I think it's very chill, and overall I'm really happy with it. And then while we're here, I did want to show that I went in and changed the lighting for Tekna's room, for Musa's room, and for Roxy's room. Just because, like, truthfully, I think the way the lighting was before was kind of diminishing all of the character that was going into these girls' rooms. So with Layla done, we can move over here and do our dorm for Flora. And I want Flora to have a really like girly boho type aesthetic. This bed is really cute for her. And then we want to get a dresser for Flora. I kind of like this one. It matches the pink in the bed. For Flora, I think it'd be really cute to do the plant end tables. And then for a skill item, we have like the florist table. This one, the flower arranging table. And then I just want to get as many plants as we possibly can in here. And we can use these as like a divider for her bed. And then with this sort of loose room, we got a few plants, the desk, the dresser. I will go in and add the clutter. And then here is our final dorm for Flora. And we just went crazy with the plants. Put some more over here. We got a little gardening area, the bed. And then she's also got more plants over here near the light and the desk. And then just like a little hangout area here with her TV and her dresser. So with Flora's room done, we can move over here to Bloom's dorm. And Bloom's room is kind of hard because she doesn't have as distinct of a color palette or aesthetic as some of the other girls. This bed has orange and blue, which is kind of nice. And then let's get her a dresser. And maybe we give Bloom this retro one, actually. And then for a skill item for Bloom, one, what do I feel like she could have a bike? Okay, wait, hear me out. What if we give Bloom the archaeology bench? Because part of her arc is like finding more things about herself and her family in the past. So maybe here's where she's like figuring all of that out. I'm actually okay with that. There's a specific lamp I really want for her. This one that has the dragon on it, since she is the fairy of the dragon flame. It could also be cute to throw this little dragon toy in here. Okay, and with this little bit of clutter done in her room, I will go in off camera and add more clutter. All right, and then with clutter and lighting, here is Bloom's room. There's a little bit more empty space, but I'm trying to get used to the fact that in a real home, there is that empty space and not to be so afraid of it. But in here, we have some dragon decor, a fireplace, things like that, kind of alluding to her role as the dragon fairy. And then I did want to point out that we added the little kitchen area in for Flora because I didn't have it before. And so with Bloom's room done, we are going to go up to our last dorm that's going to be for Stella. And I think we can use this bed for Stella, and I want her to have like a really fashionable looking dresser. Like, I don't hate this one maybe. And then for Stella, I want to give her a bunch of like the fashion stuff. Like, we can maybe do this backdrop and it's curved, which is nice. I also want to give Stella the easel because she is an artist. And then maybe some mannequins from Get to Work. This poster is very Stella. And we can also give her this platform here. And so with this little bit of cluttering done, I will go in off camera and finish it up. And with clutter, here is Stella's final room. I tried to throw lots of oranges and green in there. And then we have a little desk area, the bedroom area, dresser and things, and then the fashion studio. And then that will be our room for Stella. And with Stella's room completed, that is going to be our entire Alfea College for the Winx Club. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a like or a comment and subscribe for more videos like this and to see my next video where we build the tricks and the specialists and create a sim. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.